Hello, my name's Evan Braley, and today I'm going to be taking you through a web app that I created back in spring of 2024. So, to start, I'll just kind of give you a quick overview of what Plannit actually is. So, Plannit is a little web app that I created that is for storing different events that you have on given days of the week. It's kind of functioning as like a makeshift to-do list. And the cool part about Plannit is you can share it with your friends. So you can have, a weekly planner of all your events, and you can share it with other users that can then see it on their homepage. So that's kind of the idea. Very simple in concept, but I thought it would be really cool to try to tackle that and use some skills that I was learning in school. So, let's get into that. So, from a web stack perspective, the different tools that I used MongoDB for the database. I used Python for the backend logic. I used Flask and Jinja for the front-end interface. And I used Microsoft Azure for the functions and the API calls to change up the database and do basic CRUD operations. So yeah, that was kind of the different software that I used. And yeah, let's kind of get into the demo here. So let's say I'm a new user to Plannit. Normally I would navigate to the Plannit URL, but for financial reasons, I kind of decided to take down the website just because, it wasn't like there was a lot of people using the website, and I more so made it to add to my portfolio. So I decided for financial reasons to just kind of make this demo video and put my code up on GitHub, which I'll link down below in the description. And yeah, that'll kind of serve as what Plannit amounts to, is a project that I wanted to show off. So anyway, you are a user. You land on this little sign up page. And so what we're going to do now is sign up. So let's say my username should be, what do I want? Demo. Okay, very nice and simple for this demo. Password, let's keep it simple. Let's just do password. Now we can sign up. So the way I decided to tackle this from a programming perspective is I created 4 different objects and 4 different object types, if you will. A user, a planner, day, and an event. So when you sign up, what is happening in the background is my code is creating a new user object and linking it with a planner object. And that planner object has a bunch of different day objects that then have as many different event objects as the user likes to put in them. So it's kind of like a different hierarchy of all these different things that interweave to create this interlocked planner. And so yeah, that's why the sign up, that's kind of what it's doing in the background. So yes, you sign up and you land on the home page. You're greeted with a nice little hello message with your name listed. You have the logo in the corner, some tasks on the left where we have the home page that we can link to. We have an option to create a new event. We have an option to share this planner with a given friend. And we have an option to click on this Friends tab to see all of the different events that our friends have going on for the week. We also have a Settings tab in the top right and a Logout tab. And then obviously the different days of the week in the middle, which we can then populate with events. So let's do that. Let's create some events. So what's a good event? Let's say we have this demo for Plannit. It's currently 2:05 on Thursday, so let's do that. So what this is doing is it is creating an event object with a title, day, and time, and it's linking it to Thursday's day object for this given user. But before I show how that looks in the homepage, let's get a couple of events. Let's say I have breakfast with Martha, right? Let's say that's on Monday at 8 a.m. Okay. We could submit that. Let's say on the same day I have lunch with Martha. Well, let's say Todd. Let's give Martha a break. Let's go to Monday, and let's say that was at 11:30 a.m. Submit that. Let's say I also have band practice on Tuesday at, let's say, 6 p.m. Okay, so now that we have a couple events, let's go to the home page and kind of see what that looks like once the planner is populated with different events. Okay, so now we can see that on the different days of the week, we have little blue boxes that indicate the events. We can see the time that the event's listed for and the title. We also have a little link, which I'll get into in a second. But yeah, you can see that these are ordered by the times that they are put in for. And you can see I chose to opt for military time. That was just kind of a personal decision. I'm pretty big into military time for things like this, and I thought it would simplify the UI. But yeah, that wasn't for really a huge reason, just kind of how I decided to do it. But let's say, oh no, our guitar player, Ronnie, has to pick up his kids from school on Tuesday at 6 o'clock. So we can't do band practice on Tuesday. But let's say we want to move it to Wednesday. That's good with everyone in the band. So we can click on here, and we can see all the different current information for band practice. We can see the title, the day, and the time. We can also delete the event, but I'll get to that in a second. But first, let's click on Update. So here we can update any of the different fields, but right now all we're doing is the Wednesday. So let's set it from Tuesday to Wednesday. Submit. Okay, so the event was successfully updated. It still shows us here on Tuesday, but that's just because it just loaded. If we go to the home page, it will be completely as we expect. So let's go here. Okay, so now we have band practice set for Wednesday. Great. Crisis averted. But let's say, the guitar player now realizes that he can't do Wednesday for something else. So the plans follow through, and we just have to delete the event. So let's go here, and we will type delete. No band practice this week. Bummer, but it's okay. Hit delete. And what this is doing is, just as you expect from a backend perspective, it's deleting that event object from the day and just wiping everything clean from a coding standpoint, tying up the loose connections. And that's it. It is gone from Wednesday. It's gone from our planner. And we can see a little notification here that it was successfully deleted. Okay, so that's awesome. That's kind of the gist of how the event creation, update, and delete works. And you can see kind of how that process looks as an end result here. Let's say we want to change our password. We can go to settings. We can see all the different information for our account here. We can see our username. We can see our password. We can see the planner ID that we have, which can be useful for contacting support in a hypothetical world where this application blew up and people wanted to, get customer support. And we can also see our friends, which I'll get to in a second. But first, let's update this user. Let's set the password to, let's set it to demo, just for simplicity. Hit submit on that. And similarly to the event, it's just updating the user object that we have. And we can see if we go to the settings, this is now fixed. The password's demo, and if I logged out and logged back in, the password would be demo. So, that's great. I'm not going to log out and log in right now just because it would kind of be a boring show that would, just prove something that is very minute works, but I'm sure I'll leave it up to your imagination. But here, let's say we want to share the planner that we have. So all this events. So we have breakfast with Martha, we have lunch with Todd, and we have demo for Plannit. So we can hit share on our planner. We have our friend's username. Off camera, I created a little account called friend for this very purpose. So let's type in friend's username. We can hit submit. And right now what it's doing is on friend's user object, it has a list of all the different friends that it could possibly have, right? And when I share this planner on demo's account, what it's doing is adding demo's user ID to friend's friend list. So now, when friend goes to click on the friends tab, he will see all of demo's events listed out. So for the sake of demonstration, let's show that. Let's log out. Let's log into friend's account. So for simplicity, I just did friend and friend. Okay. So you can see friend has some events of its own. It has soccer with Eric. It's also in a band that has practice at 8 o'clock on Saturday. And yeah, let's go to friends. So yeah, we can see that demo has some events listed for all the times that we put in. We can see the name of the friend and the event and the time. So this is kind of the big appeal of Plannit, right? You can share your events after you create them and your friends can see them. So yeah, this is a pretty simple web app in concept, but it really did teach me a ton about web development or web app development. Learning a lot about, cloud hosting things like Azure or containerization software like Docker, Flask and Jinja, two huge industry front-end interfaces. It was very beneficial, hugely interesting, and I learned a ton. Also doing database stuff. This was the first time I really sunk my teeth into that. I chose MongoDB because I heard it was really popular in industry, and it fit my needs really well. They had a free tier. And yeah, that's pretty much Plannit. I hope you guys enjoyed this demonstration. Thank you.